sem var eftir vetur. Á iðunni lúta epla geimi bragða hvána skugefanda endurnýtt þú líka má kollun kalfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. Á iðunni lúta epla geimi bragða hvána skugefanda endurnýtt þú líka má kollun kalfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. Á iðunni lúta epla geimi bragða hvána skugefanda endurnýtt þú líka má klond halfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. Bragða hvána skugefanda endurnýtt þú líka má glönd halfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. Á iðunni lúta epla geimi bragða hvána skugefanda endurnýtt þú líka má glönd halfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. Á iðunni lúta epla geimi bragða hvána skugefanda endurnýtt þú líka má glönd halfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. Kalfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. Á iðunni lúta epla geimi bragða hvána skugefanda endurnýtt þú líka má kollun kalfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. Á iðunni lúta epla geimi bragða hvána skugefanda endurnýtt þú líka má kollun halfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. Á iðunni lúta epla geimi bragða hvána skugefanda endurnýtt þú líka má klond halfegur dán ég góma sem grósku sætleika og klangan þrótt og klátt líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur. plagei mig braka kvána sko gefanda Endur nýð þú líka máglund Halvfegrir þán ég og masen grósku Sett líka á klangan þrótt og lát líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur Og í þunni lúta plagei mig braka kvána sko gefanda Endur nýð þú líka máglund Halvfegrir þán ég og masen grósku Sett líka á klangan þrótt og lát líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur Sem var eftir vetur Á yðunni lúta plagei mig braka kvána sko gefanda Endur nýð þú líka mákollun Kalfegur þán ég og masen grósku Sett líka á klangan þrótt og lát líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur Á yðunni lúta plagei mig braka kvána sko gefanda Endur nýð þú líka mákollun Kalfegur þán ég og masen grósku Sett líka á klangan þrótt og lát líf vaksa sem var eftir vetur Á yðunni lúta plagei mig braka kvána sko gefanda Endur nýð þú líka
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Let's see. Oh, yep, I can hear myself. Microphone sounds just fine. Good evening, everyone. Good late night to some of you out there. Welcome to this Saturday late night Asatru Heathen Norse Pagan prayer service. My name is the Reverend Ben Kowalski Grek, and this is presented on behalf of the Troth. Let's talk. Good morning to some of you out there. Oh, thank you very much for the out there, Justin. May the gods and goddesses send blessings to everyone. Anyone's deeds be worthy, and I'm assuming, may they prosper. May we prosper. Thank you, Justin. Good morning, good evening. Vocals are good. Good to hear. I do apologize in advance. My voice doesn't sound as it normally does. It's a little more nasal, a little bit more raspy, a little froggy. I have a cold. The side effect of having children is they sort of become a petri dish for what the other kids have, and then you get it. We love them though. We sure do. So, very low register tones this evening. I do apologize in advance if it's annoying to anyone. But with that said, thank you for being here this evening. Let's get started. Tiny germ factories. Yes, Balin. That is certainly one way of describing it. Lovely, cute, wonderful, love 'em germ factories. So let's get started with how we usually do this. So if you've never been to a prayer service before, if you've never done Asatru prayer before, that's good. That's fine. I'm glad you're here because this is your spot to pick something up that's new. The way that I'm going to break this down is basically in 3 parts. First thing we're going to do is education. We're going to talk about what this is over here, this threefold method thing that I'm about to do, where it comes from, who came up with it, why each part exists. We're going to do that. After that, we're actually going to go through it together. Okay, I'm going to do it on my end. And if you want to do it at home, great. If you're not really in a position to do it at home, or if you're at work or wherever, that's fine too. Just be here as we go along. That's totally okay too. Anything that you see here that you want to take with you, take it. It's free. Free real estate. If you don't want to take it and you don't like it, feel free to repurpose or adapt and adopt as you see fit for your own practice. So that's what we'll do next. And when we have time at the end, we'll do a little Q&A. This is where you guys in the chat have a chance to ask questions. You've got to go here. If you're new to the religion and you have questions about what to do that I don't answer in the course of this service, please, this is what I'm here for. Okay, with that, let's get started with education. Let's talk about what this thing is. Okay, this threefold method thing. I'm gonna put something like this, or this threefold method thing. Who came up with it? This guy. Why did I come up with it? And how did I come up with it? Well, over the course of about 20 years, I've developed my own way of praying. This has come from my own experience in the Asatru community, my own reading, my own thoughts, beliefs, all those kinds of things. So when you see this over here, understand that it is what we would call my UPG. Now, if you haven't heard that term before, UPG, unverified personal gnosis, I hate it. I hate that term. I prefer to think of it as a synthesis. So it's a synthesis of both my practice, my life, the way that I've lived in heathenry for the past 20 years, and source material. And I'll call that out where I see it. Justin, I use Thor's hammer in each cardinal direction to bless the space. If outside, I can use the hammer with fire. That is the hammer right. Justin, we are actually going to go through that. That is going to be one of the topics we cover. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about is, which way do I face when I start to pray? This is a common question that people have because it usually gets them hung up as, I don't know where to start. Which way do I look? So, if you have an altar, and you can see here, I'm pointing at mine, you can face that altar. Simple as, right? Have an altar, you face the altar, whatever direction it's in. If you don't have an altar and don't feel you have to go out and get one before you can start practicing Asatru, you can start practicing Asatru right now with whatever you have available. There is no requirement for amount of objects you need to have or not have. You can just start right now and just face either east if the sun's coming up or north if the sun is going down. There are two varying sources as to which way people face. Some of it has to do with the position of a certain holy mountain. I think that's one of the references in the sagas. But either way, I kind of slam it all together and say, if the sun's coming up, I'll face east. If the sun's going down, I'll face north. And if it's nighttime and the sun has set, I will face north. If it's pre-dawn and the sun's coming up, I'll face east. So east and north, depending on what time of day it is, where you are. Next, how do we open this? And Justin, this is where I'm going to get to your part. If you're old school and you've been at this for a while, you probably know about the hammer right. I believe is what Justin's talking about. The old school guys know how this goes. Hammer in the north, hail and hallow this holy stead. Hammer in the east, hail and hallow this holy stead. You've seen it. If you've been around a while, I've seen it. It is very standard. You will see this across all of Asatru. For me, it's a bit high magic, and I know it's part of our inheritance from Wicca. Wicca also has a calling of the corners that's very, very similar to this, and also true in Wicca had a, I would say, friendly at times relationship where we borrowed some things, they liked our gods. It was a good match. And Justin is also open for questions as well. Been practicing since 2007. So our religion, as Justin points out, practicing since 2007. I've actually been practicing since 2004. So Justin is only 3 years younger than me. That still counts, as far as I'm concerned, as old school. That was 20 years ago at this point. I know. Crazy. So, but other people also don't tend to do the hammer right. Some do something else. Here's my fake candle. They'll take a candle, a source of fire of some sort, a lantern, torch, and they'll walk it around, circumambulate a holy space. Sorry to wipe my nose. They'll circumambulate a holy space, usually chanting or singing something. This is not going to work out for me, and maybe it's not going to work out for you either, because I live in a city and I'm practicing in a basement. My right hand here is touching a desk. My left hand here is touching a wall. That is how much space I have. I do not have the space to circumambulate with a flame indoors. That's not going to happen for me. It might not happen for you either, because you might be practicing, unless you've got a palatial country estate, some nice woodland area, in the gorgeous woods of Idaho that you can go to practice. A lot of us just don't have the room. So, what do I do instead? And Justin points out blessing with fire is in our lore. That is correct. That is where it comes from. That is exactly where people got the idea to start circumambulating with fire. But for me, what I started thinking was I was going to take a tip from our friends from the East, the Buddhists, the Hindus. What do they do to prep for ritual? To cleanse the ritual space. Ring a bell. Ding a singing bowl. And if all else fails, clap your hands. Justin also suggests incense as well. I would, Justin. I absolutely would. Except my wife's asthmatic. So all of the wonderful things, flame, incense, all those things, and I have access to none of them. So ding, ring, or clap. Again, if you have absolutely nothing else, you can still clap your hands. Which means, once again, you don't need to have a whole bunch of stuff in order to start practicing Norse paganism. You can start today. You can start right now if you want to. Just with 3 claps of the hands. Just 3 claps of the hands, 3 rings of the singing bowl, or 3 dings of a bell. I think I got the order wrong, but either way. After that, I will bow once towards the altar, and then I'll come to kneeling, which I'm doing right now. And after I come to kneeling, I'll do a very quick blessing of myself, bless my thoughts, hand to the forehead, bless my words, and fingers to the throat, and bless my deeds, hands extended in front of me. After doing that quick blessing, I will move on to the prayer proper. Now, this is where another part where we want to pay attention, because this is where a lot of people think prayer happens. This is the prayer, because it's very much focused on what we say. Because a lot of us come from a tradition where prayer isn't quite a physically involved process. Don't do a lot of bowing, kneeling, or whatever. Some of us have come from a tradition where we just kind of bow our heads, say some words, and lift our heads. That's where we come from. That's prayer to us, and what matters is what we say and the intention behind the words. So, it is disappointing for a lot of us to learn that we don't have anything that is explicitly called out as a prayer in Norse paganism, also true, or heathenry, from the olden texts. We do, however, have poetry. Lots of poetry. Wonderful amounts of poetry. And in fact, some of us have taken some of that poetry and we've decided to repurpose it as some of our prayers. And one of the most popular that I'm going to be using this evening and that I use every single prayer is the Sigdrifamal. Someone will have to correct me on the verse numbers. I'm now thinking it's verses 3 and 4, where it's the speech of the Valkyrie, where she awakens and says, "Hail day, hail sons of day." She speaks a verse, and then she's a second verse, "Hail the gods, hail the goddesses." It's a classic. You probably know this one if you're out there. If you are Norse pagan, if you've been around a while, if you've read your Eddas and your sagas, you definitely know the speech of the Valkyrie. So we are going to do those 2 verses, and then after that, any number of free verses built off of that. So what I'll do is I'll come up with a verse for Thor, a verse for Freyr, a verse for whomever, and it'll be built off of that same structure. So it'll be hail Thor, hail our protector and defender, hail the friend of man, like that threefold hail, and then a blessing. Yeah, that's generally how that structure goes, and that's how I repeat it over and over and over again, however many times I need to. After each verse, I prostrate. So full face down, hands down. Speak a verse, full face down, hands down. Speak a verse, prostrate. Speak a verse, prostrate. However long that needs to go on. There is no recommended number. There is no obligation to hail every single god if you'd like to. Stanzas 2 and 3. Thank you, Balin. Throw my train of thought there. There is no requirement to hail every single god, nor is there a requirement to only hail, each god once. You could have 9 verses to Thor, 9 verse and prostration patterns to Thor if you want to, 9 verse and prostration pattern, 81 verse and prostrations to Odin if you want to, depending on how you want to keep that going. But it's up to you entirely. So however you want to keep that going, however you want to interact, however you want the space to go, that's how many times you would do it. So for the cough. As I said, sick. Okay. After doing that, I always like to do a meditation, 1 to 2 minutes. I think of prayer as being an encounter with the divine. It's the individual subject with the divine absolute. So it's us meeting the gods. And in that meeting, aligning with them. What does that mean for me? What I meditate on is, what does that mean for me? What does that alignment mean for me when I leave this space? When I leave this encounter, what am I going to do? How am I going to live that experience? How am I going to live this encounter through seeking wisdom, speaking truthfully and kindly towards others, and doing good deeds, healing deeds, we'll say more specifically. So doing those things and thinking about how we can bring this encounter, this moment with the gods out into the real world, outside of this. After that, meditation, 1 to 2 minutes. I'll stand, I'll bow twice more, and then we can move on with questions and answers. And we are right on time. Now, chat, did you have any requests this evening? I eagerly await your requests. Ah, Senpai, you've noticed me. Yes, mercy for the civilians. Yes, I've been praying quite earnestly especially for the children, as well. The innocent victims of war. Yes. Anyone else? Thank you, Senpai. All right, going once. Going twice. Sold. Okay. Oh, we got one more. Thor. One for Thor. Thor for prosperity. Thor for plenty. You got it. So I'm actually going to do for you guys, just to show you can do multiple gods. You can do one god for multiple things. I'm actually going to show a couple different sides to Thor here. I'll do one verse for Thor as a protector and defender of the innocent. And then I'm also going to do one for Thor as a bringer of peace and plenty. Emphasis on the plenty there. So we will do that. Let's get started. Oh, and instructions will appear on the screen so you can follow along. Isn't it nice? Bless my thoughts, bless my words, and bless my deeds. Hail day. Hail sons of day. Hail night and her daughter. Look upon us with kind eyes, as we who are patient find peace. Hail the gods, hail the goddesses, hail the ever-giving earth. Bless us with wisdom, kind words, and healing hands, lifelong. Hail Thor. Hail our protector and our defender. Hail defender of the helpless and the innocent. Thor, may you bless and protect all those innocent victims of war, most especially for the children, Thor, protect the innocent and drive evil from this earth. Hail Thor. Hail our defender and our sustainer. Hail son of Odin and of earth. Thor, may your thunderous hammer bring the rains. The rains that bring us prosperity and plenty and the peace that comes with plenty. All right, folks, we're now moving into our meditation. 1 to 2 minutes once again. What we're thinking about is the divine encounter. We're thinking about us meeting the gods, taking this moment out into the world through seeking wisdom, speaking kindly and truthfully, and doing good, healing, restorative deeds. So let's go. All right, thank you for joining me in that, guys. Let's go ahead and stand, bow twice more, and we get to our Q&A. All right. Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you for participating in this. Thank you for being here this evening. I hope that we all got something out of it, whether you're new or returning, or hey, a member of the Troth. Good to see you. Lonnie, what's going on, brother? Lonnie, I wish I could tell you this was some amazing artist. I wish I could tell you. Truth of the matter is, I could not get there's some kind of service that allows you just to play background music on Twitch, and I couldn't get it to work. So I started composing mantras in Old Norse and running them through an AI program to bring them to life. And I mean, I'm okay just giving them away to people. I wish I knew how to just give them away. I don't want to necessarily put them up on Spotify because I don't want to make money off of this. It feels wrong. It's really just out of my desperate need for background music. Yeah. If you like the tunes, I'm happy to give them away. Like, honestly, I think it's cool. You know, I did work on these little mantras for a while, and it's kind of fun to see them brought to life, but at the same time, I can't justify like selling them to people. I just can't. Oh, you and Kat also do your own hymns. That's cool. Ah, my mother told me in Old Norse. Yes, classic at this point. Yeah, Lonnie, it has surprised me. It usually comes up with something pretty catchy. But again, it's not something I sit there and I beat my chest about. It's just, again, desperation for some kind of background music, especially when we get to the meditation part. I wanted to have something that kind of illustrates how a mantra chant could go in Old Norse, so just to kind of get people into the idea that yes, you can do this, it's possible. All right, Balin, newly Norse pagan or Christian background, so please bear with me. Hey, of course. Is fate a set thing? If so, can prayer to the gods change things? I've read yes and no. Ooh, we have 2 minutes, technically. But Balin, I hear you on this, so I want to help as much as I can. So people are going to be of different opinions on this. And I think that if you're more probably magically inclined, and Lonnie, of course, brother, correct me if I'm wrong here, but like, I find that people who are more magically inclined have a more of an idea that yes, you can in some sense defy fate. And in some ways, for me, magic is a kind of, and I wrote this in my recent article on magic for Iduna. I wrote that magic is kind of the ultimate second opinion. It's when fate has dealt you a hand that is truly unacceptable and you say, no, I'm not taking that. It's defiance in the face of fate. Whereas if I look at religion, it's more of an outlook of almost like a support group. It's a support group for those of us who are going to go through stuff, and we know that we can't necessarily change fate, or that we are constantly changing fate. Here's the thing, because the answer is kind of yes and no. The thing is, we are always changing fate. By speaking to you right now, in this very moment, I am changing fate, right? By whatever I do after this, whatever I decide to do, every decision I make, every stone I move, every breath I take, it is going to change fate in some way. If we think about it like, think of fate like a soup, right? Let's think of the Norns, right? Let's think of the Norns instead of as spinning women. Let's think of them as cooks, right? Think of the Norns as like cooks, and they're just stirring a broth, just stirring a stew, right? What I'm doing through my action is I'm throwing more ingredients into the broth, into the stew. Eventually, I'm going to have to taste that stew, right? That stew is going to taste how it's going to taste based on what's been put into that broth. So in one sense, yes, you are constantly changing fate. You are always changing fate. You are always going to be dealing with the consequences. At some point, you are going to have to taste the broth of whatever it is you've been tossing in there. That's kind of how I look at it. It's, yes, I am changing fate because I am constantly acting in the world. But I can't master fate. And I think that's usually what people think of when they think of like changing fate, that I can master it, that I can know for certain what effects my actions are going to have. Best we can do, I think, is just follow a general prescription of seeking wisdom, speaking kindly and truthfully, and doing healing deeds. We can't always know what our actions are going to do. Can't always know that, but I think following those three things, those three basic principles, should be a good start. And I did talk quite a bit. So Justin said, the Norns wrote our story, but our decisions. Fate schmate. Go hide in a hole. I'm over here trying to dance with the with Vertanti. I got you. And I wouldn't think of it as just more homework. It's just this is not really a homework thing. I think it's not that you're going to study more and come to some kind of different conclusion on it. It's really what you feel about your actions. I tend to look at, again, sort of in an existentialist way. Every action you do is going to have a consequence. You are never going to know the exact consequence that action is going to have. You're never going to be able to know that before you take the action or don't take the action. Even inaction is action. So in this way, we have this kind of radical freedom in the moment to act in any which way, but we don't know how it's going to go. We don't know what consequence is going to come out of it. Kristen says, our deeds either lets us go to the halls of our gods, Hela, or Niflheim. How much time? Here, I'll give you guys a few extra minutes on this one, because I think the afterlife destination question is very interesting. I think, in my own view, my own personal view, and again, take this with a grain of salt, this is just one Gothi among many. We all have very different opinions, but for me, I say that the character of the soul is revealed through living, through action, rather than the character of the soul being necessarily defined by action or shaped by action. Our soul shapes the action. So I think that a part of us, certainly, I think what we call it, the Haminya, our Haminya, certainly that is entirely, I think, our fate as it works through time, right? Whatever it is we did, our actions in life, what came to us, what we did with it, and what we did, and where it went from there. But as far as determining our afterlife destination, I think that is in some ways revealed in the character of the person while they're living. You know, were they particularly loving people? Were they particularly caring people? Were they particularly vicious people? Right? I think that there's a reason that those people are like that. And part of it, I think, has to do with the nature of their own soul. And it returns to, and I believe that those souls return whence they came. So, thank you for listening to me rant. I do apologize for going on long, but that was a great question, Balin. Thank you so much for making it. Justin, thank you for your contributions. And Lonnie, my brother in service, thank you for being here today. I do want to say one last thing, though. I want to give one last shout. I know I prayed for him this morning, but our friend, our brother in service, Tim Adams, is still in the hospital. Tim, we love you. We care about you. We want to see you back with your family. We pray that you are restored to health. May Thor restore you as well. So let's hear it for Tim too. Love that, Lonnie. You'll be remembered and missed by the people that loved you. Beyond that, don't worry. There's probably a pretty cool afterlife. More needs be said. All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking around. I absolutely appreciate it. We will be doing this again next Saturday at hold on, I've got to remember 6 a.m. Central and 8:30 p.m. Central. So 6 a.m., 8:30 p.m. Central.